Have you ever been in a situation when you have to attend a business meeting or a presentation eventually that will happen in a foreign language, and eventually afterwards you have to report it to your boss, summarize it, or eventually you had a call in a foreign language and you don't understand it, but eventually you need to know what the call was about. That's why you need an AI voice recorder that will record the conversation that you have on your phone or eventually that presentation, otherwise will translate it and summarize it for you to easily understand in basic what this presentation or conversation was about. And of course it's thin enough in order to bind with your phone through an application in order to be binded and works perfectly, no matter if you're going to use it with a tablet or with a phone, Android or eventually Apple phone. Of course you're going to be able to easily bind it with a pocket that comes in the set in order for you to place it on the back, in order to have it on your phone, and of course record whatever you are talking or eventually the person that calls you, or you may easily place it in front of the person that is talking in order to record it on your phone and eventually use the application in order to summarize it and of course explain it afterwards or for you to easily understand it. Just in case you don't want that pocket, eventually in the set you're also going to have a magnet that you're going to be able to easily glue on it in order to connect it with your phone absolutely free. But eventually I love the pocket because it works perfectly and also looks absolutely great. Now in order to bind it with an application, you're going to download the application from the instruction manual that comes in the set in order for you to easily understand how to use it and of course open it up in order to start recording. So basically 140 languages that you can easily cover on the go, no matter if it's going to be Spanish, Romanian, French, Italian, no matter of the conversation of the presentation, you're going to be able to easily translate it and summarize it. So let me talk some Romanian right here in order to translate and show how it works and summarizing, of course. Eventually, after establishing a Bluetooth connection, you're going to be able to easily go in order to record. So basically, you can easily import that data or record the meeting or eventually the presentation that you have or the phone call that you are on. In order to do so, you're just going to press on play, and right now I'm going to speak Romanian. Doamnelor și domnilor, în această zi frumoasă am nespusă plăcere de a prezenta un dispozitiv care traduce în 140 de limbi. Pe lângă asta are AI integrat pentru a sumariza tot despre ce merge vorba în acea conversație. Super ușor de utilizat pentru că ai posibilitatea de a conecta cu telefonul tău. And of course, when the conversation is done, you're going to be able to easily save it and go into it in order to summarize that. In order to summarize, eventually you're going to choose the language that the conversation was. So right here I have it in the Romanian language and I'm going to generate it immediately in order to generate it already in Romanian. Afterwards, eventually you're going to be able to easily translate already the summarized conversation. Now that eventually we have the conversation summarized in the original language, we're going to be able to easily translate it to the language that we need to understand it. Of course, you're going to be able to easily edit it or eventually ask AI to help. So basically, translation language, we're going to translate it to English right now. Then we're going to summarize that. Of course, it's going to take a couple of seconds in order to do so, but eventually, conference information, date and time, location, presentation of a translator device capable of translating 140 languages. Additional summarization, the device can summarize conversation, making it easier to grasp the essence of discussion. The device is described as a user-friendly. The device has functionality to connect to the phone, thereby enhancing its utility. Works for me? Now eventually let's try again in a different language. Right now I'm going to be trying to speak Russian because eventually I speak Romanian, Russian, English, some Ukrainian, some Italian. So let's start recording in Russian. Дамы и господа, сегодня у меня в руках находится переводчик, который еще имеет AI, чтобы вы могли записывать эти разговоры, которые вы не знаете языка, для того, чтобы понять их позже, чтобы поделиться со своим боссом, поделиться с друзьями. Или если вам кто-то звонит на другом языке, чтобы вы поняли, что было в этом разговоре. И, конечно, вы не должны читать весь разговор. So now that we ended the conversation, we're just gonna save it, and we're gonna go straight to the translator. Eventually, we're gonna have to summarize that. In order to summarize that, we're gonna choose the recording language, and we're gonna look for Russian. So choosing the Russian language. Eventually, afterwards, we're gonna generate the conversation in order to be summarized. Now, eventually, it's gonna get summarized in Russian. Afterwards, you're gonna be able to easily translate it to English, eventually for you to be able to easily understand what was the conversation about. And of course, it takes a couple of seconds in order to do so. And right here, I have the information already in Russian, summarize. So basically, when we're gonna click on the translator, we're gonna choose the English, but eventually you're gonna be able to easily translate it to up to 140 languages: Portuguese, Italian, Chinese, Spanish. So I'm gonna choose English for you to see that the summarization can be easily translated to English in order for you to have a report. So basically, if you're in class, you're gonna be able to easily record the class and afterwards just summarize the important stuff. So the conference information, presentation of an AI-powered translation device, description of the capabilities of the new AI-powered translation, conversation records, future. The translator allows recording conversation in languages unfamiliar to the user, conversation of conversation into summarized information. The device processes recording and provides the user with the key points of the essence of what said, eliminating the needs to review the entire text. Eventually, whatever I said in Russian, right now it's summarized and translated to English, which makes your life easier, especially if you work with foreign agencies, foreign businesses, in order to be connected with the whole world. Now, eventually, with a device like this one, you're going to be able to easily make the task easier. If you guys are looking for a translator AI integrated, this one is definitely a recommendation from me.